All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is The Truth with Ben Jokes, your number one political talk show. I remain your host, Ben Jokes, and you are welcome to this episode. Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, decided to push his luck further today with blasphemy. He said, God has told me that Tinubu will do 8 years. Imagine God speaking to an APC member and affirming their stay in office. Isn't that ridiculous? But it just goes to show that this man, Dave Umahi, does not believe in the existence of God. Because if he did believe in the existence of the Almighty One, he wouldn't make such a derogatory statement about God. I pray that the consequences of blasphemy will come upon Dave Umahi and the entire Tinubu camp by his grace. Amen. Nigerians are dying of starvation, insecurity, unemployment, hopelessness, but the APC remains unmoved. All they care about is to remain in power so as to continue looting our commonwealth. Now the whole country has turned upside down under Tinubu. And few hours ago, very devastating news came out of southeast Nigeria. Another 25 lost their lives to terrorist attack in Enugu state. People are fleeing their homes, and just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that confusion within the APC began making the rounds. You know, when we say that the Tinubu regime has failed woefully, they say we are speaking like that because we are supporters of Peter Obi. Now, Lagos state government has launched a public attack on Tinubu administration, particularly in the area of power. And the numbers following these reports are completely outrageous. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. In this video, a dean of a faculty in Christland University reacted to the US court ordering the FBI, DEA, and IRS to release Tinubu's criminal records. This video is a typical example of a man trying to be a bird and a bat at the same time. See the video.
The argument from the presidency now is that there is nothing new. It's been 30 years. Everything that has been said, has been revealed. So what exactly are people looking for? They are saying this is about politicians in the opposition fishing for something when there's nothing to talk about. What do you see from this and what is playing out here?
And I think, thank you so much. What I observed from all these that happened lately is actually pointing to the fact that irrespective of number of years, irrespective of the nature of your participation in anything that appear to be clandestine, the shadow can always follow, such individuals. However, the issue at hand is not something that is new. It has always been there, even prior to the ascension of the then Senator Tinubu to become the governor of Lagos State. It has always been there. And you could see that maybe about 4 of them, they were actually alleged, maybe in the early 90s, that they took part in a drug ring. To a large extent, it went by and by. The politician kept on every now and then. They are latching on it, that we need to know this. But we all know, come Tuesday at the courts there in the District of Columbia, the best that will happen is whether it was true that the Mr. President got himself involved in all of this. But by and large, if it gets back to Nigeria, the Mr. President still has immunity. Let's say, I'm not speaking for Mr. President this time around, he still has the immunity to actually still protect him in line with our Constitution. And having said that, but the image and the integrity of us as a nation, we begin to beg for an answer, irrespective of the legalese that are actually coming around the scenario. Because when you look at it, the FBI, the CIA, the DEA, all of them, they are the one that were actually empowered by these courts to go ahead and make public what they have actually found out over the years. But we believe that the United States of America is not like a typical African country where you could do things and you think that you do not have the records, or where you think you can just do something and go away with it. It is not. Your information will always be there, irrespective of number of years. But Mr. President is already, in the office. Let's now assume that there were some indictments. He's already in office. Are we now going to say that is going to unman him or is going to unmake him? He's already in office. And I believe that the politician will begin to lash on this, and it's going to cause major distraction to the good governance that we are currently, saying, as it were, in the nation. Not too bad, not too better, but we feel that it's going to be a major distraction to the presidency, and things will continue to unfold in the next couple of weeks.
You heard that. He kept going back and forth. And at the point, it sounded like he was making sense until he began saying the release of the document will bring distraction to the good governance that we are currently experiencing. Anyone who says good governance, who associates anything good with this regime, is as evil can be. Then he quickly went back to saying it's not like the governance is so good now, but we believe it will be. You believe in what? Next month, Tinubu completes 2 years in office, and there's still no positive impact on the populace. So what are you talking about? And the major talking point in this video is that the dean of a university faculty is not bothered that somebody occupying the most prestigious, the highest seat in Nigeria has serious criminal records with FBI, CIA, and DEA. He's saying he has immunity. Immunity in the face of global disgrace? What is the essence of education in Nigeria if tribalism, religion, and favoritism will still override logic in a flash? It is such a shame. And at this point, you really cannot fault those who say division is the only solution to this country. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is the sad news coming out of southeast Nigeria. 25 killed in a terrorist attack in Enugu and several others injured. And next is that confusion within the APC, Lagos State government calling out the failure of the Ministry of Power with some ridiculous numbers. Let's start by taking that update from Enugu. Look at how the papers reported it. Reign of terror in Enugu. 25 persons killed, scores injured as insurgents wreak havoc. Sahara reporters. The agrarian communities of the Uzonwani local government area in Enugu State are living in fear as insurgents, reportedly herdsmen, intensify their attacks, leaving a trail of death and destruction. At least 25 people have lost their lives and many more are injured, with families fleeing to neighboring states in search of safety. The local vigilante group is sounding the alarm, criticizing the delayed security response. The incident became horrifying as the new Enugu Police Commissioner, Maman Bitrus Giwa, last week denied publicly that there was any sign of insecurity problems, said Godwin Ezugu, a member of the group. Recent atrocities include the brutal killing of vigilante Chijoke Anioke at Ekenwauzege Junction, the cold-blooded murder of Onwa Black in Opanda, Adani, and the kidnapping of Entraco driver Party Ozo with one passenger shot dead. These incidents have left communities on edge, wondering when the next attack would come. Community leaders have sent a distress call to Governor Peter Mbah, expressing their frustration and disappointment over the inaction of Uzonwani local government area chairman Chijoke Ezugu, a former vigilante leader. They report frequent farmers' abductions and killings over the past 2 months, with no end in sight. In desperation, opinion leaders are urging communities to arm themselves for self-defense, citing the Department of State Service Director General Adeola Oluwatosin Ajayi's warning that Fulanis have declared war on Nigerians, especially southern Nigeria. Wow, so painful. So painful. 25 killed, several others injured. People fleeing their communities, to look for safety. This was how it began in Benue State before everywhere became an IDP camp. The same thing began happening in Southwest last year. That is why I don't want to relent on this matter. Southern Nigeria must not allow these Fulani headsmen to turn their safe havens into bedlam for crime and killings. And as it appears, the state governors have sold out. We cannot say this enough. Messages have been sent to Peter Mbah over and over again. He has done nothing. In fact, when his deputy arrived at a location after killing, he began blaming the victims. Even got some people arrested for complaining too much. So clearly, the governors have sold out. The people should not even think twice about defending themselves. Just as it was referenced in that update, The DSS boss came out and said that local communities must begin to be their own first line of defense. That statement has deeper meaning. It means you are on your own. I don't want to hear we have sent messages to the government again. It is clear that these guys have sold out. People should begin to defend themselves. It is your life first. Even if you are working, you are doing other stuff to try to make ends meet. What is the purpose of trying to gather money if at the end of the day, headsmen will just come and take your life? So people need to come together and be the first line of defense for themselves. And when it is time to change your leaders, you go all out. The same way you are going all out to defend yourself, you go all out to change your leaders. And the spiritual art here says, and Nigerian military is busy trying to recruit Southeasterners into their jihadist military, a military that cannot protect the people. Roadblocks everywhere in the southeast, yet these killings are taking place. And Olajide says when they catch them now, they will become northern hunters. That is it. When they catch these Fulani headsmen that are killing now, they will come and start telling us that they are innocent hunters. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, that update that signifies serious confusion within the APC began making the rounds. The Lagos state government complaining bitterly about the failure of the power sector. Look at how the papers reported it. The deputy governor of Lagos State, Obafemi Hamzat, has cried out that the utility company supplying electricity to his quarters raised his bill from 2.7 million naira in March to 29 million naira in April. That is crazy. Hamzat said the disco also frustrated his efforts to get metered despite paying for a prepaid meter. The deputy governor said this on Monday at a roundtable held in Victoria Island between the REA and the Lagos state government. Hamzat, who represented Governor Babajide SANWO at the event, decried what he called crazy billing. People that are trying to survive, and the common denominator for them is power. They don't have power. There are billing challenges. In fact, I am a very good example. Last month in my house, or the state house that I live in, the bill was 2.7 million naira last month. This month, Eco Disco sent us a bill of 29 million naira. I sent it to the Commissioner for Energy. It is crazy. I actually procured a meter. I bought a meter to say, look, don't give me estimated billing. I bought the meter, but to convert it is wahala. He lamented. He narrated how a customer in Koka Aguda area of the state was charged 2.8 million naira when his rent is 2 million naira. There is a place called Koka Aguda in Surulere, and people came to me and I was asking them to calm down. A man's rent in a year is about 2 million naira. They gave him a bill of 2.8 million naira for electricity. How can the bill be more than the man's rent for a year? Those are the challenges that we have. Our people are suffering because of estimated billing, he stated. This is a deputy governor of Lagos State for that matter. But a meter couldn't convert from estimated billing, to the prepaid meter. From 2.7 million, his bill was raised to 29 million naira. Then another whose house rent is 2 million naira was billed 2.8 million naira as light bill. Isn't that just completely criminal? And this is what has been happening in Nigeria since the corrupt Minister of Power introduced the band A, B, and C fraud. 3 days ago, there was a massive protest in Kwara State. This particular protest was led by masquerades, where flats that were paying 15,000 naira, and they were even complaining about that 15,000 naira. Now their bills were raised to 47,000 naira. And I am glad that this is an APC government versus APC minister, because if it was Peter Obi or a PDP governor, they would have termed it politics. When they want to raise tariff or taxes or petrol prices, it is always times 4 or times 5. Took petrol from 198 to 1,000 naira. But when they asked them to raise the minimum wage times 4, they said it was an outrageous demand. From 33,000 naira, they asked for 120. They say, how can you even ask for 120? That labor is not being reasonable. But they can increase the electricity tariff from 10,000 to 47,000 naira. From 2.7 million to 29 million. In other words, the people are not normal human beings like the politicians. That's exactly what they are trying to say, because it is politicians that benefit from all these tariffs. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. Pato here says, it is good that this is coming from their own party leader and deputy governor. If it were an obedient who said this, they would have sent convoys here with all sorts of insults. Bunch of adults living in obvious self-denial. That is it. The administration has completely failed. They are just deceiving themselves. And Abioye here says, electricity should not be that expensive for any reason. But since the APC government is bent on destroying the country, they would feel it as well. And D here says, this is what Nigerians are suffering. Tinubu removed all subsidies on Nigeria, but nothing to show for it. He and his cabinet keep looting the country. Every sensible government always subsidizes agriculture and electricity for the citizens. Tinubu is the worst president ever. It is so pathetic. The APC government are not willing to solve any problem for Nigerians. About a week and a half ago, the Minister of Power told Nigerians after a meeting with some Egyptians that Nigeria was going to follow the footsteps of Egypt to solve the problems in the power sector. And I told us that they just said it to excite people. It is just propaganda. As soon as those delegates fly back, they will even call the Minister of Power. He will not pick again. He will put the number on busy. These people don't care about trying to make anything better. May 29th, next month, this administration will be 2 years. Can any Nigeria confidently beat his chest and say this is one area of concern before these guys came in that is now better? Just one area is what I'm looking for. None has improved. And it will keep getting worse. The people will continue to suffer. Unemployment will continue to scatter the whole place. Hunger, insecurity. I think all the members of the opposition, including retired politicians, are coming out to complain about the killings in Plateau State now. This is how it has to be. Nigerians, all hands must be on deck. We cannot allow this country that God has given us to crumble under the APC. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Na I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away. Sorry,